everybody, it's your girl Cece. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be about my top brushes that you need in your life. I always get asked questions about makeup brushes, from the types of brushes, from people that are just getting into makeup, that are trying to build up their makeup collection. They'll always ask me, like, what types of brushes do I need to get? When I'm buying a brush set, what type of brushes do I need to look for? So this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys all about the types of brushes that I feel like you need for just any type of eye look. And then I'm going to be talking about my favorite brushes for face makeup as well. I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of different brands and everything. I can't really say like one brand is greater than the other brand, or only buy like this brand of brushes, because you just kind of have to look around and find things that work for your budget and what you're looking for and what appeals to you. But I can definitely tell you guys like the type of brushes that I feel like every girl needs in their life, and from there you can make a determination about like where you want to buy your brushes from. So if that is something that you guys are interested in seeing, definitely continue to watch the video. And if you are new to my channel, definitely hit that red subscribe button so that you do not miss any more uploads from me. And let's just go ahead and get into the video. So I like to go in the order that I always do my makeup. So if you guys have watched even one of my tutorials, you know I always start with brows. So these two brushes right here are what you need for brows. So you always want to have a angled brush similar to this one here. This is a Wet n Wild brush, super affordable. I think this is like 99 cents or maybe $1.99 at the drugstore. But any type of angled brush would do. And basically for this, if you like to use like powders or eyeshadows to fill in your brows, you can just go in and do that. And you can also use this to go under your brow bone and blend in your concealer, and even on top of your brow and blend in your concealer. So this is a really, really good brush for that. The next type of brush that you want is a I would call it like a dual end brush, because you want something that you can use for concealer, but you also want like a spoolie, and that's really good for just combing through your brows and just making sure that all of your brow hairs are going the same direction and are in place. So I really like this one by Bodyography. I got this out of a BoxyCharm, I want to say, but this type of brush I'm sure you could find like in the drugstore or even online. So it just has a nice spoolie on one side, and then it has a angled head on the other side. So like I said, you know, shop around, but these types of brushes are really, really good for brows. So between these two brushes, this is all that you'll need for brows. So the next thing that I do is I always start my eyeshadow with a transition color, and basically transition colors go from the top of your crease here to about right here. And you could actually apply several transition colors depending on what type of look that you want to do. For like a simple look like what I did today, I just used two similar transition colors. You may use like 2 or 3 depending on the type of look that you're doing. So blending brushes are key, because if you find good blending brushes, then you really don't have to work so hard to make your eyeshadows just like blend into each other. So these are 3 that I really like. I have 2 high-end and 1 drugstore. So the first one that I have is a Sephora. This is the Sephora Pro Tapered Crease. This is the number 19. And this is what that looks like. So it just has a nice fluffy tapered head here. And this is really good for just going in and just blending out transition colors. You could also kind of squeeze this and just go into the crease if you wanted like a more defined eyeshadow look right there in the crease. So this is a really, really good brush for blending eyeshadow. The next kind of high-end one that I really like is by Luxie. And this came out of an Ipsy bag. This is the Luxie 205 Tapered Blending Brush. Very similar to the Sephora one that we just talked about. This is a little thinner, and this is definitely more fluffy. So you could also use this for blending transition colors in, but I feel like this would be really good if you want to go like really low in the crease, like this area here. This brush is really good for that. And the next one that I have is a more affordable option. This is the Wet n Wild blending brush that looks like that. Very similar in shape to the Luxie one that we just talked about. This is just kind of like a drugstore version, so I always try to give you guys like more affordable options when it comes to makeup. I mean, if you can find a cheaper version, why not just save your money, right? So this Wet n Wild one is really, really awesome for, you could use this for like all over blending, or you could just get directly in the crease with it. But this is a really, really good blending brush. Next thing that I always do is I'll go in and do my lid color, and then I kind of go back and blend them together. So for lid colors, the two types of brushes that I like are, the first one is just your flat eyeshadow brush. It looks like that. This is a Wet n Wild one. It's just flat. It's synthetic. You definitely want synthetic bristles. Are really good for powders. You could also use it for creams and stuff like that as well. So this is just a really good brush for that. And then if you're going to be working with like pigments and glitters and stuff like that, you definitely want something a bit denser, because you get better color payoff if you just kind of like press it in instead of like rubbing it in. So this brush right here is a Sonia Kashuk. It's a eyeshadow brush, but it's more like domed, and it's a lot thicker than like your typical flat eyeshadow brush. So this one's gonna be better for like pigments and glitters and stuff like that. So this you can definitely find at Target, but anyone that's a little bit more thicker and, you know, synthetic bristles that looks more like this, you definitely want to use for like pigments and glitters and stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing that I always do after I do my lid color and my transition, I will go in and I will use a crease brush to put a crease color. I didn't really do a crease color today just because this is a simple look, but if I wanted something a little bit more fancier, I would definitely do like a crease color. So this right here is like the only crease brush that I have that I absolutely love. So this is by Studio, I think it's called like Studio 55 Beauty. No, it's at Walgreens, definitely Walgreens. So this is what this brush looks like. So it kind of has a tapered kind of head, but it's just super great for crease colors because it fits right into your crease, and then you can just go in and just apply any crease color that you want. So that's a good type to look for crease colors. And then the next two brushes that I have are like for your finishing touches for eyeshadow. So the first one that I have this is a pencil brush, and you could use this for a couple of different things. This is what that looks like. So you could use a pencil brush to go in here, and if you wanted to do like inner corner highlight, you could definitely use it for that, and then you can wipe it off. And if you want to go underneath the lash line here and put some eyeshadow there, you can do it for that. If you want to define your crease or even do a cut crease, you could hold it up like this and go into the crease area and use it for that. I've even, like when I'm running low on brushes, I've even taken it and used it as a brow bone highlight as well. So just because a brush is called like a pencil brush or a crease brush or an eyeshadow brush, it doesn't mean that you have to use it for that purpose. You can use it for whatever you want. So that's just a couple ways that I like to use this pencil brush, and this one is by Sonia Kashuk. And last but not least, you want to find a good smudger brush. And what the smudger brush is going to do is it's going to allow you to go right near the waterline, and you could either smudge out your pencil eyeliner, or if you didn't want to use eyeliner in your waterline and you just wanted to use like an eyeshadow, you could go in and you could just, you know, kind of smoke it out that way. So this is what the smudge brush looks like. All smudge brushes are pretty much the same. This is a Sonia Kashuk one. I have an e.l.f. one that looks just like this. I have maybe some other brands too, but they all just look just like that. So it's just a very short head, And yeah, so it just looks like that. So those are basically all the types of brushes that you will need to do any type of eyeshadow look that you want. Like I said, I have lots of different brands here. I have in my collection, I know I have like e.l.f., Real Technique, Studio 35, Sephora, Luxie, Sonia Kashuk. I have like a lot of different brands. So like I said, it just depends on like your budget and the type of brushes that are appealing to you. So those are everything that you need for eyeshadow. So let's move on to face brushes. So when it comes to face makeup, you can definitely multitask your tools. You do not have to use, you know, just because a brush says it's like cheek or it's bronzer or it's foundation, you could use it for whatever you want. So again, I'm going to break these off into categories. I'll do them in the order that I do my face. So after I do my eye makeup, I do my primer, and then I always go in with foundation. So two things that I like to use for foundation, and again, you can definitely multitask these. I have a brush and I have a sponge that I like to use. So the brush that I like to use, you can use any kind of flat top foundation brush such as this one. This is a BH Cosmetics 116 brush, but you could definitely use, like I said, any flat foundation brush. And basically these are really good for, you could just kind of like pat the foundation into the skin, and then you can go in and you can buff it out as well. BH Cosmetics is a really affordable brand. It's not in the drugstore, but it is very affordable. I am an affiliate with BH Cosmetics, so if you guys want to support me, I will definitely leave my link below, and then you can use my link to shop and get any BH Cosmetics products that you want. And I do get 15% of every sale if you guys choose to support me. So this is a really good brush. I have an e.l.f. one just like this. I have some Wet n Wild ones just like this. So yeah, as long as it has a flat top, that will be really good for foundation. And also, you guys know I love my Beauty Blender. So this is the Beauty Blender Pro. This is the black one. I have like two of these, and then I have just the regular pink Beauty Blender. I love beauty blenders for foundation. I just feel like it just gives just a beautiful airbrush finish, wonderful coverage. I love these. So if you haven't used a beauty blender or you're new to them, you definitely want to wet this. What I like to do is hold it under running water and squeeze it like this. I like to squeeze it maybe like 20 to 25 times to make sure it's really saturated with water. And then I like to take this side here and then just kind of dab it all over my face and blend it in that way. When I get to like the corners, like around the nose and underneath the eyes and like here, then I like to use this more tapered side. So that is everything that you'll need for foundation. So after I do my foundation, I always go in and do my under eye concealer, highlighting and everything. So I really like to use my beauty blender to pat that in. If you don't have a beauty blender or you just prefer to use a brush, two brush options that you can use for that. For the high-end one, it would be, again, Sephora. This is the Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush Brush, and this is the number 56. So that is what that brush looks like, and it is the perfect size for just getting in here and just dabbing here. Once you set your concealer, if you set it with like powder, you could also use this for like powder as well. So this is a really good brush for that. For a more affordable option, e.l.f. has a small tapered brush that looks like that you could definitely use, you know, just underneath your eye area for your concealer. You could even use it down the middle of your face for your concealer as well. So after I do my concealer, of course, you want to set it, so you can use one of those brushes there. And then I like to set my whole face, so you definitely need a powder brush to set, you know, your whole entire face, like areas that you didn't apply the concealer. So these are both going to be affordable options. One of these brushes is limited edition, so I'm not sure if they still sell it, but I'm pretty sure you could find something like it. So this first one, this is a brush that I just found at the icing. They had a brush set that they said that MAC actually designed this brush set. I'm not sure how true that is, but I found this one and I absolutely love it. It's super big and huge. And as you can see, it has like this kind of domed shape and it's super thick, dense, synthetic bristles, and I love it because you can just literally go around your whole face with it. And because it's so big, I mean, it covers like a huge area. So I mean, you could literally use this in like 20 seconds and be done. So anything with a super huge kind of domed brush head like this would be really good for powders. And then you could also use this Wet n Wild powder brush that looks like this, that is not as big as that icing one, but nice soft synthetic bristles and has kind of like a dome shape as well. So any brand that you'll find is gonna have like powder brushes like that, so it's just whatever fits your budget and whatever you like. So after I do my powders, I like to go in and I like to do chisel out my cheekbones with like bronzer or like a contour shade. So what I like to use for bronzer, I have two brushes. This first one, it does not have the brand name on it, so I'm not sure who actually makes this, but this is just like a kabuki brush. You could go on Amazon and find these. You could find these in the drugstore. Just any kind of like kabuki brush would be really good just for like, you know, bronzing like the cheekbones, and then you could like squeeze it like this and go in into like your nose and stuff like that. So that's a really good brush for that. And then the other brush that I like, this is actually a powder brush from Sonia Kashuk, but again, I like to multitask with my brushes. So this is the Sonia Kashuk powder brush, and you could definitely go in and use this for blending out your bronzer and contour as well. So the next brush that I like to use is a brush that I actually like to use for contouring, and then I like to go in and do my face highlight. So this brush right here by Kat Von D, this is limited edition as well, but I'm pretty sure that you could find brushes with these shapes as well. So this is the Shade of Light Kat Von D brush, and this top side has like an angled kind of brush head, so any kind of angled brush would do, and this is just the perfect shape for just going in and just like chiseling out your cheekbones, doing like your face contour, and also doing your contour here. And then the other side has this nice like highlighty kind of brush that you could use for, you know, your highlight here, going down your nose, the center of your face. So I'm sure BH Cosmetics has this as well. ELF has brushes that look like this, so just kind of look around and you could find this type of brush for contouring. And the next thing I do is I apply my cheek color, and you always want to do your cheek color in between your highlight and your contour line. This right here is like my holy grail blush brush. Like, I absolutely love this. This is by Real Techniques. It's a Real Techniques blush brush, and I love it because it has this little part right here that you could actually like, it actually sits up on your vanity if you wanted to use it for that. But this is what the top looks like, and it's just like the perfect shape for just going in, and it not only applies the brush, it not only applies the blush, but it also like blends it as you're applying, so you don't have to go back and try to blend it in, and it just gives like the perfect amount of product, which I like because I can be really heavy-handed when it comes to products and stuff like this. So it's just like we'll go in and it'll just do the work and blend it for you. So I absolutely love this. This Real Techniques, they have it at Ulta, but you could probably find it cheaper at like Target, or Walmart has it as well. And sometimes you can luck out and find brushes in like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls, places like that. So just kind of look around. But if you ever see like a Real Techniques like brush set at like a discount store, definitely get it because you will love their brushes. They are so soft, and I have literally had this brush since like my early YouTube days when I first started doing YouTube like almost 3 years ago, and as you can see, it's in perfect condition. So I absolutely love this brush brand. And last but not least, to go back in, and I always like to like go back into my highlight and just make sure like everything's blended and everything. This is a really good highlighting brush. This is the e.l.f. small tapered brush, so you could definitely, like I said, use it for under eye concealer, but you can also use the other side and go back in and just kind of do your highlight with it. So this is what this brush looks like. So yeah, that is everything that I feel like you need as far as like brushes that you need in your life, types of brushes that every person needs. Of course there are other brush types and everything, but I feel like these are like the basic ones. So if you're just starting out doing makeup, or you're just like trying to get like a basic brush collection together, I feel like these are the types of brushes that you definitely need in your life. So yeah, that is the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely give it a huge thumbs up, and comment below any requests for videos that you want to see, and definitely subscribe to my channel if you are not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys very soon in the next video. Bye guys.